Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to round 8 of Monday Night Lights, coming to you live and exclusive on RRTV here at the Great Spa track in Europe once again. And joining me tonight for round 8 once again is Tim Awema. I'm your host, Alex McKellar. Tim Awema here, of course, the Golden Stig. Once again, Tim, ready for a big night of action on track.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Thanks for having me tonight. I'm looking forward to another great episode of the Monday Night Lights. Should be a really good event here at Spa tonight. Quite a long track, but look, could be some very interesting racing tonight.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it immensely, mate. I'm looking forward to it even more now, knowing that we had 86 cars registered tonight, 86 people signed up, and once again making this the strongest field for the week at a tick over 4,000. We're at 4,083 or 4,082. Two pro drivers turning up in Ade Coba Lopez. Marcelo Rivera, and we've got a swag of local and international talent here as well, with the likes of Fahim Antonides coming out, Tim Gorkrocher perhaps leading the local ANZ charge, and I beg your pardon, Marcelo Rivera leading the local ANZ charge with that pro driver, the pro license holder that I mentioned before. But there's a swathe of international and local talent, as I said, along with plenty of familiar faces, Tim.
Yeah, what a turnout. You know, when you look at a SOF and it's 4,082, you know you've got the best of the best racing out there tonight. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm looking at those names in there, and look, some of the guys I'm not so familiar with, but they're the local guys like Timmy G and Tim Hendrickson, and we've got Kevin Henderson, Russell Clark. We've got Hawkon in there. This should be a fantastic race.
Yeah, absolutely it will. Just looking, the last guy to make it into the split tonight was Anthony Catt. We saw him racing last week, of course. He snuck in with an I rating of 2,992, so it's getting tougher and tougher to get into this big race here each week, folks, and certainly augurs well for the on-track action. You know, lots of side-by-side stuff here. The draft, of course, playing a really big part, as you know, Tim. There's guys, 4 and 5 deep sometimes as they run up the Camel Straight into Le Com, particularly on lap 1. It should be immense with an 18-car field, Tim.
Yeah, no, that's going to be a very interesting first lap. I've seen a lot of races here, and that draft up that first straight and trying to get into as Lacomb's the S's there. It really everyone's fighting for a position. There's some late minute dives, but look, with the quality of drivers that we have tonight, I'd hope that on that first lap that he's trying to find their position, knowing that this track does play to the draft. And you've got a lot of laps there to really make your move.
Yeah, a lot of time and races run in the helmet or between the ears, as you might say, with guys really having to strategise and think about where they want to make their run, how they want to time their charge at the top. Of course, this track renowned in the skippies for being on pole, not necessarily being the best place to start, as the guy in third or fourth is often leading by the time they hit Lacombe. So, look, I'm really looking forward to this. Really excited to see the quality and the standard of drivers that have rocked up tonight to show us what they can do, Tim.
Yeah, definitely. And look, I think the thing you've got to be mindful on this track, and it gets everyone, is the 1Xs on this track. Most guys will finish this race, they'll have 13 or 14 Xs. They're really trying to push that boundary to get every second possible. As you try and set some great laps, as well as try and hold on to the race leaders as well.
Yeah, 100% right there, Tim. Just watching Fahim Antonides cross the line now at the end of his one and only qualification lap. This is a really long track here, folks. You'll see guys, as we see Fahim set the fastest time provisionally. He's at 2 minute 46 with a 7 minute qualifying time allocated. You can only get the one lap in, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of guys holding back a little bit to make sure they don't get an incident point and discount their lap here tonight, because to get the one, there's no putting in a banking lap and hoping to get by.
Yeah, exactly right. Now, Adeo Cobo Lopez, the only one, I know it's 2 people or 3 people now in the 246s, and that's quite a fast time. Look, the big shock of the night, and I've got to point it out, is Bill. There's no Bill Fraser tonight. I thought he'd come out here and take the world by storm and get 4 straight, but he hasn't appeared tonight.
No, he has not. He has not shown up tonight. That's interesting. He's won the last few on the trot, charging his way up the ladder, and yet unable to make an appearance tonight. Hopefully everything's all right, and he's just having a night off and maybe kicking up on the couch and watching this fantastic coverage that we hope to bring you tonight, folks. Most of the field now been through. Surprised not to see Ben Snell on the board. Looks like he has picked up the dreaded 1X and will not be starting anywhere near the front where we would expect him to be. Really fast and growing in confidence and speed in the last few seasons as young Ben, but unfortunately tonight he looks like he might have picked up an incident point and just missed out. So while we've got about 30 seconds to go, I'm going to suggest that most people will have finished their laps. So what we might do is just take a look at the grid and how it stands now, Tim. Like we said, we're here at round 8 at Cirque Spa Francorchamps. Now, I will apologise up front, folks. Tim and I, as you can tell by our thick Australian accents, are going to struggle with some of the pronunciations here, so we apologise in advance. Taking out pole tonight, Ade Copa Lopez with a 2:46.492. Really great time around here, although we'll have a look at the weather in a sec, but it might be... I have seen faster times in better conditions, but Ade's right up there in the best in the world, and he's done a fantastic job. Just a mere 3/10 behind him, leading the ANZ charge on the grid at least. Tim Gorkrocher, returning Monday Night Lights champion. Fahim Antonides, UK&I Club, joining us once again in P3. Daniel Fernandez Sioane, sorry Daniel, in P4. P5, Marcelo Rivera, again from the ANZ Club, pro licence holder once again. Håkon Grebsted, once again joining us from all the way from Scandinavia. David J. Burns in P7. Jamie Simone in P8 with a 2:47.3. P9 went to Fran Vinal from Iberia. P10 to Tim Hendrickson. Surprising to see Tim that far down the track. Look for him to come charging through the field. Kevin Henderson, good qualifying result for him in this field for P11. Gustavo Conde in P12. P13, Anthony Catt joining us once again. Russell Clark from Team Milo in P14. Antti Aola, pardon me, Antti, in P15. P16, not setting a time, was Ben Snell. Similarly for Vince Browning in P17, and Tony Vahelo Caballo, who did fantastically in the preceding race, in P18. Now, just while the guys are taking their grid, I'll take a quick look at the track tonight. We're in Belgium, of course. 9 laps, 21 turns tonight, about 7 Ks and 62 Ks overall. 29-degree track temperature. That might explain some of the reason why some of the guys are lacking a bit of pace at this stage. As the red lights are on, the guys are getting ready to run down this first section, and they're awaiting.
Yeah, it looks like a good start as we're going to head up to Eau Rouge, and I'm on board at the back. I started at the back tonight, and Vince Browning, I'm going to start at the back so I can get a good view to see what's happening up the front of the pack there.
Yeah, they're through Radion and Eau Rouge for the first time. This is where the action up front really begins. Guys really starting to sort themselves out. Look at this gaggle of cars, Tim, as they head up the back straight. There'll be 4 and 5 wide here. You can fit at least 4 skippies up this Keble straight, and they're going to take look at all these cars flooding up into Le Combe for the first time. Can they all make it through?
Oh, hold my breath for this one. This is going to be interesting. It looks like we've got through 3 wide, most of it. Yes, we're 3 wide and we've got through. Brilliant effort there.
Beautiful driving from the guys as they head down towards the turn 10 here. It's a sweeping, well, a tight left-hander by this track standards. Second gear around here. Some guys dropping down to first in traffic, no doubt. And again, they're still 2 and 3 wide here as they head down to No Name for the first time. Ade Lopez sitting in P4 at the moment after qualifying well tonight on P1. Like we said, it's often not the best place to start the race. As much as you want the coveted P1, it can often end in you getting shuffled a bit because of that run up the Kemmel Straight, Tim.
Yeah, exactly right. And you are right. You really don't want to start a pole here because it's always going to get taken over. But look, it looks like we've got through quite cleanly, and we might get through an easy first lap here. And I'm still on board at the back with Vince Browning, because it gives me the best view straight through to the rest of the field just to see how they're all driving. And at the moment, they're all starting to settle in. It looks like they're all single file as we go through. There's no sneaky little 2 wides or 3 wides. So it looks like we're going to have a good run towards the, what is it? We've got the bus stop or the chicane down the end there.
Yeah, up Blanchimont now on their way down for the first time. I tell you who we have missed out on. Tim Gorkrocher. I notice he's he's been into the pits and he's back out on track at the moment. As once again they're going 2 wide through Blanchimont now, and down to that final chicane. This is at the other end of the track where business really starts happening as guys are zooming around everywhere. 3 wide into the bus stop chicane for the first time. Can they make it 2 by 2? Noah's Ark through this final chicane, and they seem to have made it work. Further down in the field, we seem to have all gotten through. A couple of incidents being picked up as they've run wide out of there. But once again, the standard of driving has been outstanding so far, Tim.
Oh, it's been fantastic. Yeah, it's a shame we missed out on Timmy G to see what happened there. But obviously, everyone's got through at the moment, and it's like, well, we've just had an incident into the hairpin, was the source. Can't quite tell who that was. Antihola. Sorry if I've got his name wrong there. He's got some major damage on that car.
Yeah, I'm just going to duck back and see if I can pick it up. What happened to Anti there? Racing for Team Bushvic Racing here tonight. He's gone wide there into the La Source there, coming in. He's just, it looks like it's checked up in front of him, and he's run into the rear of the 15 car, which is poor old Russell Clark, who's then run wide out of there. And it looks like Anti's going to have a bit of cold feet for the rest of the race, Tim, missing his nose cone.
Yeah, definitely. And look, we've just had another incident up at Lacombs with Hock on, it looks like. That was quite an incident. It checked up a little bit as they went into that corner and they sort of just tail-ended each other.
Yeah, I'm just riding on board with Fahim there. So duck back a bit further. They're running up there. On board with Fahim at the moment. Antonides from UK and Ireland Club here. I know he's ducked into the pits, so something must have happened here. Oh, I'll tell you what, they've tried to go... Oh, yeah, he's been cut across. Ade Lopez has taken the driving line. Probably... Look, it just goes down as a racing incident in my books, but certainly Fahim's copped the rough end of the pineapple in that one, Tim.
Yeah, it definitely has. And now it looks like the front 3 are just slowly moving away here. I'm just going to jump on board with Marcelo. I'm on board with Hockon at the moment. He's just sitting behind the front 2 drivers. They've got a little bit of a gap, and if they play this well, they can actually drive away on Hockon. So it depends just on how much they're going to compete, really push each other, and how much Hockon's going to have to compete with the guys in 3rd and 4th and so on, and how far that will actually drag him back.
Yeah, heading up Blanchimont now. They're coming into the final chicane on lap 2 now. Interesting to see Mr. Hendrickson. He's up 5 spots, up 6 now as he goes past Hawkon into the final chicane there. Although if he can make that work on the outside, it'll be interesting to see if Hawkon nudges it up the inside. Nah, good racing room left there by those 2. And the big mover so far, Ben Snell, goes up the inside of Hawkon, although Hawkon will be looking to defend that into into La Source, I beg your pardon. Ben Snell currently up 10 positions from that poor grid spot, so certainly showing his pace and form tonight, Tim.
Yeah, definitely, and a really good driving effort. And as I said, these guys at the front, they look up. There's a bit of nudging, but that's going to happen with the close driving. And I'm really impressed just with the way that they're driving at the moment. They're all starting to find their positions, and there's not much between 1st and 7th at the moment. And as they come up along this Camel Straight, that's really going to bring them all back together as well.
Yeah, the gap back to top 10 is covered by 4 seconds, if you can believe it. And look at them, there's still a gaggle of these cars. These guys are all battling for P3, because up in front of them, it's Daniel and Ade Lopez, who have cleared out. They're out to about a 1.5 second gap over this gaggle of cars. They go 2 by 2 once again. Hawkon taking a lovely run there through Lacombe and holding off Ben Snell as they come down into turn 10 now. And on the inside line, once again holding him out. Looks like the 5 car there, Jamie Simone, looking to have a look up the inside of Ben Snell, but settles for the position there. And line astern they go now, as they really don't want to let Marcelo Rivera and Tim Hendrickson get a gap here, although they're already out to about... Where are they out to? Almost that magic 1 second mark there. Almost 1.1 now. Hawk on trailing Tim Hendrickson and P4, Tim.
Yeah, and that's what they didn't want to happen. The minute you sort of battle for those positions, you can let the guys slip away, and now all of a sudden third and fourth are starting to move on a bit. But look, is anything's with the draft here, you can really bring that back as long as each driver is willing to do the little frog leap and really help each other gain those positions back. They should be able to bring those drivers in very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. On board now with Daniel Fernandez. And I'm not even going to have a crack at his last name. I'm sorry, Daniel. He's sitting in behind. He's the 8 car, sitting behind Ade Lopez in P1 there as they come through Blanchimont again, down to the final chicane. And looks like he's playing pretty smart. Look, they're not dicing terribly much here, although Ade Lopez is taking the inside defensive line, making it clear, although it looked like Daniel might have lifted a bit there just to hang on the back. He knows the standard of the driver in front of him is no joke. I mean, prior to the last race where he had an incident, he was above 8,000 iRating, and that is not easy to do. He's also a World Championship driver. He has taken out the official season before, and he's leading this race well and truly from the front, Tim.
Yeah, no, that's a fair effort. I can only imagine what it'd be like to be at 8,000 I rating. But I've got a long way to go, and I should actually do some more official races to get there. But it's a fine effort when you're at that sort of level and you've got your pro license. You are in that top category, and you really, when you come out, you do put on that show, and he is really driving well tonight.
Yeah, well, Fernandez, Daniel now going to the left, to the outside briefly, poking his nose in front, looking like they might want to leapfrog to stay ahead, because all these cars behind they've got the advantage and disadvantage of the draft, as we see again, this gaggle of cars sitting in behind them. They're all trying to use what draft they can to jockey for position here. Kevin Henderson poking his nose up the inside of Jamie Simone there, trying to make it work up the outside of the second part of Lacombe, now into the third part now, that snaky S of Lacombe, then down the hill. He's made that work and got through on Jamie Simone and made that position. Did I hear a bit of contact behind? No, 2x2 still. Anthony Catt dropping like a stone. Looks like Lacombe has really not been kind to Anthony. Down a few positions through there, but still well and truly in touch with that big gaggle of cars looking to claw their way back to the leading groups, Tim.
Yeah, and look, I was on board with Kevin Henderson at that time, as you were calling all that, and Jamie Simone, he was coming through, and I think Kevin got a little bit tail happy, and Jamie just gave him a slight nudge. Doesn't look like there's any damage on Kevin's car, but he definitely would have felt that one.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, there's a good race shaping up here. Ben Snell, how many positions has he grabbed now? He's up 13 positions and looking to get on the front of this pack. Very racy. I saw his race the race preceding this, and it was fantastic. He had so much pace, leading the race from the front for much of that event before having an unfortunate incident with Kevin Henderson. And now he's really looking to make the running here and see what he can do to be the leading Australian driver in this series.
Yeah, definitely. And look, he has got a very competitive driver that now just made the move, which is Tim Hendrickson. He's just moved to the left. He's gone in front. So as they come down, they're going to come down to the chicane area, and it looks like there's 4 cars with Hock on, all fighting for those positions. But Tim Hendrickson's going to hold on to it as he goes through the chicane area.
Yeah, still a little 2x2 behind them, mostly sorted out. Everyone getting through really well. I'll tell you what, the standard of this is really impressive. I mean, you can't underestimate what the draft does to the speed differential to guys just hot lapping. And the fact that these guys have all, for the most part, been very tidy here. I've spoken too soon. It's Anthony Catt, I think. No, who's dropping? It's Ben Snell. Oh, let's go see what happened to poor Ben in that final corner.
Oh, David Burns as well. What a shame.
Yeah, it looks like Ben and the 7 car there, which is Marcelo Rivera. Ben's basically, I think, yeah, he's turned in a bit. Marcelo's Yeah, it looks like perhaps Ben wasn't expecting Marcelo to be there. Marcelo looked to have made a good move and was certainly a long way up. And then, as you say, David Burns has been the unfortunate recipient of a kiss of death from Ben Snell, who was at the time struggling to recover his car and perhaps lacking the control after that incident. But what's that done to our field? Well, that front pack, Ade Cobo Lopez, he's still out in front with Daniel Fernandez behind him. Tim Hendrickson sitting on now 4.3 seconds behind on the front of that group with Kevin Henderson tucked in behind him. Fantastic drive from Kevin to be so far up the order here in this quality field. Håkon Grebstad sitting just behind him, poking the nose there through No Name Corner now as they head down to Puon for lap 5 of 9 here tonight. Oh, unless I've got my track locations wrong. No, I'm spot on the money. They're down to Puon now. This double apex left-hander. They swing wide out after dropping down into 4th. Such a pacey track here in these skips. Håkon now pulling to the left-hand side. Kevin going, not quite defensive, but making sure that they weren't 2x2 as they head through campus now on the tail end of lap 5, Tim.
Yeah, look, this is going to be a fantastic race as we lead down with Kevin Henderson and Håkon, I know, and Tim Hendrickson. They've all driven together quite a fair bit, so they also know their styles. Håkon's really pushing it. He's going to show the nose all the time to Kevin, just to put Kevin a little bit off his race. But Kevin is quite a competitive, strong racer, and he'll know that, and he will take the defensive line as we come down towards the chicane.
Absolutely. Look, it tells you the quality of this field. Håkon is no stranger to Monday Night Lights, no stranger to this standard of racing. He's a 4K I-rated driver, and he's car number 10. Of course, the I rating goes to each driver has a skill rating, also known as their I rating. It's used to match make drivers in different categories of racing. As I said earlier, there were about 86 cars signed up, and they were ordered in terms of their I rating, their skill rating, and the top 18 drivers out of that 86 are in this field tonight. Car number 10, seated number 10, Håkon Grebstad, he wouldn't have had a double-digit figure on his car for a long time, I can tell you. But he's really showing his quality in this car, sitting in P4 at the moment, tightly behind another Skippy big name, it has to be said these days, Mr. Hendrickson, who they are dropping back, though. This racing is costing them. They dropped another half a second to the leading 2 this lap, Tim.
Yeah, definitely, and that's going to happen. These guys all fighting for that 3rd position. They're going to be they're going to fight for every manoeuvre. We can see Kevin Henderson really pull out. He's taken the draft. I think Tim Hendrickson might just be backing off a little bit. He's going to duck in behind Kevin here as they come up to Lacombe, and it'll be really interesting just to see if Tim Hendrickson tries to make a manoeuvre. No, he just settles in, plays it nice and easy, and I think he's just going to sit behind Kevin and let Kevin really dictate this race, and then see if he can make the manoeuvres on the straights.
I'll tell you what, I did not expect to be 2x2 and what are we, 9 cars deep, 10 cars deep at lap 6 or 9 at this race. It's outstanding driving these guys are putting on here tonight, and you know. I'm kind of lost for words, to be honest. You see a lot of official races going on here. You see a lot of this kind of action happening, 2x2, 3 even up as you head up the Kemmel Straight sometimes, and again into Lacombe each lap. But you don't often see this number and this standard of driving lasting for nigh on the full length of the race. I don't want to put the mocker on the guys here, but there's some fantastic racing going on out there, Tim.
Oh, definitely, and you are right. This sort of quality of driving, I'd expect this on the first lap where we've got all the cars together. I'm you know, at the moment on board with Fran Vanal, and he's just at the back of the pack there, and he's down in 10th. So from 3rd to 10th, we've got this line, this Congo line as we come down. Blanchimont, I think it's what it is. My pronunciations aren't going to be the best, but as we come down into this straight and we look to head towards the chicane, that's a lot of cars that you on the 6th lap all sticking together. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, might follow these guys into the chicane before we move back to the lead. Oh, there's some guys jockeying for position now. They know there's 3 laps to go. You want to be somewhere near the front of this pack in the next couple of laps, or you're just not going to get your shot at that podium spot. But that's where the tension and the nerves start to run. Can't believe it. 2x2 once again through that final chicane. Fantastic driving by all involved as they head down to La Source now at the tail end of lap 6, as we say. Look at them all shoot over to the left-hand side of the track there. Coming down into La Source once again. Fantastic race. Oh, very wide there from Hawkon, making sure not to make any contact and perhaps optimising his run out. Or was that Tim Hendrickson? Though all the guys have made it through there clean. Let's jump up the front now. We see Daniel Fernandez. He's jumped out in front of Ade Lopez. But let's see if Ade can use this draft. Oh, yes. Can he use the draft? Of course he can. He's just driven straight by Daniel. Now, the thing about this long Camel Straight is actually a double draft opportunity. You can get overtaken and then come back again, as we see Daniel. No, he's just going to lift and tuck back in. These two have got the race in the bag. It's really up to them to win and lose it here. And this is what we were saying before about the mind games, Tim. This is where the guys have got to think about where the other guy's strong, but not so much at this track, where he's strong and weak. It's going to be, where am I strongest to overtake? If I take him up Camel into Lacombe, can I hang on through Blanchimont into the final chicane? You know, or do I have to sort of bide my time on Camel and then take him through Blanchimont? It'll be interesting to see which way these two goes. Oh, as Daniel lets the rear of the car hang out and really puts on a show for the people at home.
Geez, it's nail biting on the edge stuff, whether it be first and second or third down to 10th. And I just can't believe it. When you were calling it before, when we're going around to the last hairpin, I thought we were on a rolling start for the race. The two wide, and they were all lined up. It was just some fantastic racing. And now, if I'm looking third down to fourth, we've still got that battle. Tim Hendrickson's just opened up a little bit there with Kevin sitting behind and Hawkon. But Tim, I think, is just hoping that Hawkon and Kevin will battle with each other and he can drive away.
Well, Tim certainly got the pace. He's shown that, but what he can't account for necessarily is the draft. And you know, even if these guys are, you know, a second behind him, they're still almost on his tail or vying for position. Particularly if the second or third guy's got a two-car draft, they can be side by side by the time they go through Blanchimont and into the final chicane, Tim. It's such a big effect here, this draft. Look at them all taking different lines here, jockeying for positions, as we've said time and time again. They're going to go 2 and 3 wide through that famous corner where Max Verstappen made that pass in Formula 1. The guys trying to emulate their heroes in Formula 1. Almost 3 wide. They're hawking up the inside of Hendrickson. All of them using every bit of the track. Those curbs there are quite dangerous in these cars. They can spit you out the wrong way and into your competitor beside you. But once again, all the guys making it through very safely. Hawkon looking up the inside now, as is Marcelo Rivera behind. No, it tucks back in. You've got Hawkon just defending that inside line more than attacking. Hendrickson sporting a little bit of rear wing damage, it has to be said. Interesting to see how that plays out. Taking a different line now. Once again, we're heading up on the penultimate lap, up the Camel Straight. Who finishes on top, Tim?
I don't know. Just amazing race. I wouldn't have expected this. I thought we might have had there would have been the talk from a couple of the other races. We would have had a few more incidents on this one. But geez, we just had that incident, and there it is. Kevin Henderson and Tim Hendrickson. They've taken each other out.
Yeah, and you know what else has happened? I'm just trying to find Kevin to grab an instant replay here. Kevin, Mr. Hendrickson must have been driving very hard indeed, because he, in that incident, was disqualified. Too many incident points. I'll have to try and get a better angle on that.
I was wondering where he went to. I saw him vanish, and I didn't know if he had internet issues, but no, there we go.
Yeah, just following behind them now. Looks like, I'd suggest Kevin. Looks like he's straight out a bit. Carried a bit too much speed, although you're flat through there. Just misjudged. They were 3 wide there, and that's Hendrickson's night over. Very disappointing for him and for Kevin, it has to be said. And I think the lucky one out of that was probably Hawkon Grebstad, who got out scot-free. We'll jump back on board with Hawkon. He looks to be carrying no damage, and he's sporting an 8/10 of a second gap over Marcelo Rivera behind him, looking to perhaps clear out, although back down to 7/10, and he'll be swallowed up, no doubt, as they try to battle it out for the final lap upcoming, Tim.
Oh yeah, what a shame. I thought we would have headed off with the final lap and we really would have put on a good fight with all those competitors. But I think Hokon's just going to hold on to this one. I know Anthony Cat is really he's just behind Marcelo, and I think he's going to put the pressure on Marcelo, and which I will believe would get Hokon a little bit of a drive away.
Well, if those guys battle behind, not only are they risking incident and accident, because there's plenty of ways to get through this area of Blanchimont into the final chicane, they do risk Hawkon having nice clean run, although it's down to 4/10. They'll close up on and look at them once again, line astern this time. No 2x2. This is the business end, folks. We're about to go through La Source for the final time now, setting up the run into the Kemmel Straight through Radion and Eau Rouge, and see what they make of that lottery at the end of the Kemmel Straight. Just quickly jumping back up front, Ade Coba Lopez, he's trying to cement his position, although, you know, you've got two spots here where this draft has the biggest impact. It's once you go through Radion and Eau Rouge here that you're on the Kemmel Straight. This is where Daniel Fernandez here will no doubt look to move out to the outside. Will Ade defend it, or will he just let the draft happen comfortably and tuck in beside or behind and look to get him into the final chicane would be the next best bet. And it looks like car number 8 here. What a fantastic drive from Daniel, new to our little Monday Night Lights event, and but putting on a great show. Let's jump back to that second group, 3 wide as they head into Lacombe. They've managed to sort out Jamie Simone putting on a great show. He's been shuffled like a deck of cards here tonight, in up and down and all around the place. Håkon Grebstad putting his authority a bit, but it's Anthony Cat, your pick, I think, Tim, earlier on. Car number 18 just snuck into this field. He's really going hammer and tong for the final spot on the podium, Tim.
Oh, he is, and that was a great manoeuvre along the Kemmel Straight. He picked that perfectly. He's got the position in front. I don't know if that's where you want to be leading into this as we come down into the double left-hander of Puon. You know, it can be anyone's race now. There's 5 guys in this little pack. We're going all the way back to Fran Vanal, and maybe Fran's sitting in the box seat waiting for some action to happen in front so he can just slip past.
Absolutely, or he might just be tugging. Oh, a bit of contact there, Marcelo. Marcelo looks like he's had some contact there, and he has also been disqualified, out of incident points. Sensational finish to this race here, folks. One of the pro drivers been disqualified, and we'll lose a hat full of points out of that. As we continue on now, we'll join the leaders for the final chicane here as the boys behind get the elbows out, looking to finish strongly here. If we hop on board now with Ade Lopez, where is he going to make his move? Well, it's going to be the final chicane, folks. We predicted it earlier on. He's got the run. He's got the run through Blanchimont now. He's been forced to the outside by Daniel Fernandez. How are they going to make this work, folks? 2x2 they go. This is where the pro driver is going to make it work around the outside of the first part. The inside, can he get the drive out? Because car number 8, Daniel Fernandez, has got the better drive out through the outside line. He's got the inside into the final corner. No! Ade Lopez jumps inside there, looking to take the inside line. Does the crisscross manoeuvre, has the inside run through La Source, and he will get the drive, and he will get the victory here tonight. Although, no! I take it back. I've got off too early. Daniel Fernandez looking to take it out. Fantastic result for Daniel. As we come through this final corner now with the chasing pack, we've got Håkon Grebstad coming out on top of a fantastic race for P3 and a whole gaggle of cars. Anthony Cat, Jamie Simone, Fran Vital, and Gustavo Conde making an appearance back to finish in P6 there. Russell Clark dropping down the order. I wonder if Russell had an incident there, Tim. What an amazing finish to this race.
Oh, yes. Unbelievable. And it's going to be interesting to see the score sheet after this, to see the incident points, because I think by the end of it, there was a lot of those guys that were just hoping and praying that they didn't get a little nudge, a little bit of contact, run wide, because as we said, I wasn't far wrong when I said there'd be a lot of guys on 13, 14X, and we had those disqualifications with too many X's. It just shows you how competitive this race was tonight by really pushing the boundaries.
Absolutely. I tell you what, I cannot believe that finish there. I thought when Ade Lopez had the inside runners, we're just watching Fahim round out his race tonight, coming home in what looks to be 13th, depending on how those that pitted shake out in the end. I was stunned. The finish there from Fernandez to get the drive around La Source there at the end on the outside, and he pulled a fair dinkum car length almost in front. They were nose to tail. They weren't side by side. I'm astounded. That was a fantastic run through there. Congratulations to Daniel, who I must learn how to pronounce his surname because it's not Fernandez. I don't think it's Sione. I'm sorry, Daniel. To take out that victory there tonight, what a fantastic effort. Now, speaking of the results here, why don't we have a look at them? Round 8 here tonight for Monday Night Lights. Daniel Fernandez Sione. Sorry, Daniel. He's up 3 spots here and takes out a fantastic victory, an exciting race. Ade Lopez, pleased to see Ade back here. It's fantastic when he shows up and puts on a great performance each and every time. Once again, doing so here again tonight. On pole, finishes second. Fantastic result for Ade. Håkon Grebstad up 10 positions. I beg your pardon. No, he's car number 10 up 3 positions. I'm getting too excited here, folks. Fantastic drive from Håkon. Patient when he needed to be and aggressive also when the time came calling. So that's your podium, folks. Well done to those guys. Anthony Catt, UK and I in P4. Jamie Simone, we called his name a few times tonight, but he was in and around the action and resulted for his efforts with P5. Gustavo Conde in P6. Didn't see much of Gustavo tonight, but a good result for him. Fran Vinal in P7. Called his name a few times again, but again, such an exciting race and a quality race. Fantastic result for him. Tim Gorkrocher. Not sure what happened to Tim. He's in the booth. We might talk to him shortly to see what happened to him because it looked like he was in the pits from the get-go. I don't know if he missed the start or what happened, but perhaps we'll find out. But he's fought his way all the way back to 8th. Tony Vallejo, Caballo, he's up 9 positions, equaled only by Anthony Catt tonight in P9. Vince Browning, welcome return to the top split for Vince Browning. He's been a regular at different times, but not seen him for a while, but great to see him in the top 10. P11, Kevin Henderson after that incident in the closing stages. Fahim Antoinides also caught up in an early incident, fought his way back to P12, just inside the points for Monday Night Lights there. Marcelo Rivera, we thought he might be up the front, and he was certainly in amongst the action all night with that unfortunate incident to close out the race in P13. Russell Clark, also very unlucky tonight, caught up in an early incident in P14. Tim Hendrickson, well, we saw what happened to Tim. He was caught up with Kevin there and had racked up too many incident points and unfortunately disqualified for him down in P15. Ben Snell, after putting on quite a display early on, unfortunately dips out tonight and he's in P16. David Burns in P17 and Antti Aola, apologies Antti, in P18 rounds out your field of 18 tonight, Tim, in what was an amazing race.
Yeah, absolute phenomenal race. And look, just pointing out to the viewers there that are a bit unaware about the iRating system there, we looked at Ade Lopez. Such a high iRating driver for his second position tonight. He only picks up 16 iRating points. And I believe if Alex was saying in the last race, he lost around about 150 iRating in his previous race. So based on that, it's going to take him a lot of races to get his iRating back up. But very good racing tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it talks to the quality of the driver when he's 8,000 iRating. He comes to the strongest skippy race of the week at 4,000 soft, finishes second and only gets 16. So, yeah, that's a tough gig if anyone has ever had one. So, we've got a few people in the green room. Not one of them is on the podium. In fact, all of them had big incidents tonight. We'll go in finishing order. I've just got to find out who finished first because we're all down the order
I
a
think
bit.
we've got Mr. Timmy G first.
Timmy G. Let's bring up Timmy G and say good day. Mr. Gorkrocher.
Let's not talk about it.
What happened, mate?
I was doing, you know what? Nah, I got to go. I'm in tears. No, it's actually not bad. I obviously qualified all right. Was happy with that. Put in not a mental lap. Was sort of safe. It's easy to get 1Xs here, so I didn't try too hard, but was happy with it. And P2 thought, oh, good chance, you know, lead into turn 3, if we're lucky. And that's kind of where it ended. I jumped into the race and then thought I'm going to help the RRTV guys out and wait and be the last car to join the grid. And of course, not knowing, having spoken to Ben and whoever else might be waiting in the green room patiently after the race, those guys are like, no, you can't do that. The race will start without you. And I thought 30 seconds to go and it said miss start. What's going on?
No.
Anyway, I have okay pace around here, so I fancied my chances and ended up 8th, which was all things considered. I could have cracked the sads and left the session, but you know, got some sort of job done.
Yeah.
And it was fun working hard to get back up there. So what could have been though?
Yeah, I wondered, mate. I saw straight away the pit timer was on, and obviously you'd missed the start. I wondered perhaps if you were trying to do the right thing by us. And look, I appreciate the effort, but gee, that's disappointing for you and disappointing for us actually, because the racing up front was incredible. We were saying we were 6 laps in, and you know, apart from the 2 out in front, we were down to 10th, so 8 cars deep, racing side by side. You don't see that often in lap 6 of a race around here in Spa in the skippies, mate. So disappointing, but hopefully we can see a bit more of you on screen next week up the pointy end.
Yeah, I haven't raced at Donington, but everyone raves about it, so it should be a bit of fun. I'll get some practice through the week. And, hopefully hit the ground running for next weekend and Monday night, of course. So, but anyway, tonight's one of those opportunities that went missing, but we'll come to Spa again and hopefully make amends for what could have been.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Listen, thanks again for coming to speak to us here, not only to speak to us, but for coming and turning out for Monday Night Lights. We had the strongest soft of the week. You'll be pleased to know, if you don't know already, mate, that your fantastic chase resulted in only losing about 7 iRatings, so it wasn't too costly in the end, other than perhaps you know, a bit of fun on track and a bit of a spectacle for us, mate. So thanks again for turning out, mate. And before we let you go, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Nah, just you guys for hosting tonight, of course. Bernie and the crew as well. And we had a pretty good turnout, as you said, plenty of internationals. It was good to have them join us in the Aussie Soft Race. So thanks to all of those guys for coming as well. And look forward to racing next Monday.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Tim. Thanks again for your support of the series, mate, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, gentlemen. Good on you.
There you have it, Tim. That explains it.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, see, I know he's trying to do the right thing, but maybe he should have just jumped on track, got his focus up. We would have got through there.
Oh, yeah, look, I appreciate people doing that sort of thing, and I have asked people to do it in the past, but yeah, it's unfortunate. Those of you who don't know, when you take the grid, if you jump back into the pits, the countdown doesn't count anymore. If everyone's on the grid, it just goes, and that's what unfortunately happened to Tim here tonight. Next on our finishes, well, we've got our podium sitter, Håkon Grebstad. Why don't we bring him up for a chat and see what he's got to say. Håkon Grebstad, Alex McKellar and Tim Awema here in the RRTV commentary booth, mate. P3, what a race.
Yeah, yeah, what a race.
How about that, eh?
Yeah.
What was it like in the cockpit, mate? It was it seemed pretty exciting.
Oh, it was exciting and scary, and you know, all of the in between. It was mixed feelings tonight, but it was a great race overall.
Yeah, mate. Look, I was saying before to Tim Gorkrosh, who we had in here just previously, that you know, we were in lap 6, and you were in a pack of 8. And there was still 2 and 3 wide at different places. The standard of driving, you know, there's a bit of push and bump and grind here and there, but overall, to be 6 laps into a race like this with in an 8-car pack is pretty impressive in terms of the standard of driving, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I was really happy about the standard of driving. Like, you know, 2 or 3 wide through the chicanes, you know, every lap, and you know, I had one contact on an early lap there, which I think ended the guy's race. I think it was with Fahim, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Not really. I haven't looked over the incident, but other than that, it was great. Like people were holding the lines and giving room and respect most of the time anyway.
Yeah, look, Fahim did have an incident early on, which was unfortunate, but yeah, I can't recall it off the top of my head, but I do remember the incident happening. I just can't remember who was involved. It was a shame for him, absolutely, but like I said, the racing up front looked spectacular, and congratulations on your effort tonight, mate. It was fantastic. I'll hand you over to Tim to see if he's got any questions for him.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Hoffman, that was a great drive tonight, and I was watching. I was focused on your car a fair bit. There was a lot of nudging out there tonight. How much were the incident points playing on your mind?
Oh, they were playing on my mind. All right, I was saving because there were a fair bit of bumping between cars, and off tracks are easy to get around here. I think I ended up on 11 at the end.
Yeah,
So
it
I
looks
had
like
a few to go.
yeah. Yeah, that's interesting because I know that I'm just going down the list and I see Jamie Simonet was on 14, so that would have really been playing with him, especially in that last battle. But yeah, we had 3 disqualifications tonight due to incidents, so
Yeah,
that must be really hard.
yeah, especially with the really hard racing and everyone trying to improve their position throughout the race, right? And sometimes it just goes wrong, right?
Nah, exactly right. But a fantastic effort to finish 3rd tonight.
Yeah. Cheers. I had a guy bump drafting me on for front straight. Almost spun me. That was crazy.
Jeepers, that's not what you want around here, mate. That's certainly not in the skippies.
No.
So, congratulations to you again, mate. Congratulations to Team Oval Team. I know you had some supporters in the chat tonight, so well done, mate. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
All you guys and whoever supports me in the chat. It's awesome. Thanks for doing the broadcast.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Thanks for joining us once again, and we look forward to seeing your efforts on track next week.
Sure thing.
Mr. McCullough, before we invite anyone else up, I've got the result sheet in front of me, and I'm proud to say in the 3rd split, Bernie Weemers finished 7th.
Bernie Weemers, he's in the points.
Absolutely fantastic effort to finish in 7th.
Oh, the great
He
man
started
himself.
in 11th. That's great.
Oh, I was into him before the race. I said, come on, head down, just concentrate, run your laps, let all the craziness happen in and around you, mate. But that's fantastic. And I see Les is up there in P5, Mark Jeffrey in P4, and, well representing the local club there. So that's a fantastic effort for them. Just jumping to the 2nd split results before we bring up Mr. Snell. Who's patiently waiting in the green room. Team Milo having a great run there. Alex John, car number 1 in the 2nd split. That tells you how strong this field was. He also took out the top split. Regular midweek top split runner Tom Barry in P2. Matt Wright in P3. Simon Dopp, who's well up in the Monday Night Lights standing. He's in P4, grabbing another hatful of points. And Renee Zalfin in P5. Other notable regulars there. Brad Parkin in P6. John Scholz, Team Venom Racer in P9. Mick Gray relegated to the 2nd split once again. He's down all the way in P15 after starting P4. So Jason Willman also in the 2nd split. He's down in P16 and looks like he retired early. So that's a real shame for those guys. Of course, those of you who don't know, we score the top 3 splits on Monday Night Lights. So it's all about getting on track and enjoying your racing here. Monday Night Lights adds a bit of flavour with some points off on the side. So get out there and get on track if this is your cup of tea. And if it's not, get out there anyway because it's a lot of fun. Now, before we wrap things up, why don't we have a chat to Mr. Snell, who has been on top of the pops for a while now, but certainly missed out a bit tonight. Mr. Snell, Alex McKellar and Tim Awema here in the RRTV commentary booth, mate. What could have been, shall we say. You had a tremendous start to the race after qualifying poorly and missing a time by the looks, and charged all the way up to 3rd before it all went wrong, mate.
Oh, yeah. The yo-yo that went up and then just down and stayed down.
Yeah, mate. Look, I was I held out a lot of hope when I saw you charge your way through to the front of that pack, and then it just all came unstuck, mate. Talk us through it.
I was just super aggressive on the start of the race. Everybody decided to leave the very far left-hand side of the track open, coming down the end of the Camel Straight. So I think I went from 16th or 17th up to 10th just in that corner.
Jeepers, 6
But
spots up Camel. That's fantastic.
yeah, ended up getting into that second pack, which is basically what I could hope for the race. And then unfortunately had a bit of contact with Marcelo. He just couldn't hold his line when he passed me down the inside.
Yeah, unfortunate incident was, mate. And interesting to see that later on, he was one of our retirements through disqualification. So it was a tough night out for a few of the front runners there, yourself
I think he hit
included.
Timmy a couple of times as well.
Yeah, Tim racked up some points and he was unfortunately disqualified as well. So it was certainly all happening out there, mate. I can tell you up here from our vantage point, the driving standard overall was excellent. The fact that there were so many cars involved for so long was amazing. And, you know, I will give you a big props, mate, because starting where you did and making your way through that field like that is really, really impressive. I just hope going forward, mate, that we can see you at the tail end of the races as well. So, but congratulations on, and thank you for turning up tonight. I'm sorry it didn't go your way, but before we let you go, mate, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Oh, just thanks to you guys. As always, taking the reins. You're doing a really good job now. Thanks for the chat, everybody that supports everybody. It's a really good community. And thanks to the guys at Team Potato.
Excellent. Thanks, Ben. And we'll look forward to seeing you again next week.
All right, see ya.
There you have it, Tim.
Unbelievable. I was just looking, I just looked at Ben's his lap sheets and he got 4 laps in with 11 incident points. So that would have been a long night trying to drive around just to really try and hold on to it without getting all those incident points tonight.
Yeah, look, I tell you what, like I said to him there, I was really impressed with his ability to get through the field like that. I mean, 6 spots up Camel on the first lap is, it's not unprecedented, shall we say, but I tell you, it was impressive nonetheless, and not everyone can do it. But then the hard work really set in, and he made his way through that outstanding field. Very impressed. Like I said to him then, I really hope that he can start pulling some results together that are commensurate with his speed and ability, because he's really come along in leaps and bounds. Biggest disappointment for me tonight was that little slip up from Mr. Gorkrocher. I think he would have made a really good addition to that front group. In fact, I think he would have been vying for the win with that front two. So, what could have been, but certainly, what an exciting race, mate.
Yeah, very exciting, and I'm just following the chat now in Discord. And but look, let's just focus on the racing here. All I can say is bring on next week. This is going to be an action-packed race next week. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're at where we're at Donington next week. I love Donington. It's a great track. Look forward to some exciting racing there. I think we're doing the national layout, which is actually my preferred layout. You get that little chicane at the end rather than loop section out the back, and it's a lot more fun. Certainly coming up on this week on RRTV, we have got plenty of action with your sprint cars, your Speedway Oval, Dirt Oval action here on Wednesday night with the Australian Speedway Championship or Sprint Cars. Oh, I'll get it out. Get your Dirt Oval in on Wednesday, folks. Thursday night will be the ADSCAR Series once again. Coming from Kansas, the Thursday Night Thunder. If you like your NASCAR, we've got you covered there. And then on Friday night, we've got the online Supercar Series, the AOSC, Australian Online Supercar Series, for your V8 action and your fix. You can get that here on Friday night as well. Mr. Weimer, the Golden Stick, what's coming up in the world, in your world this week? Anything that we can watch?
Well, on Friday night, we'll have the Friday Night Race Club, where I know yourself, you'll be in there and I'll be in there. And on Saturday night, we've got the Saturday Night Bathurst. And if everything goes to plan, we'll have the Last Man Standing on Sunday.
And where can people watch you, Tim?
on Robius_TV on Twitch.
Beautiful. Robius_TV on Twitch. As for me, folks, you can find me at Top Split TV. I'm at Twitch as well on Top Split TV /Top Split TV. Or alternatively, just head over to topsplit.com. You can check out all the episodes of the podcast. On YouTube, just search for the Top Split. Some old races there as well. Plenty of content to keep you active. I'll be online on Friday night, of course, same as Mr. Awema here. Saturday night for the Big Bathurst 300. That's my highlight of the week. Love that race. This week we're in the Lotus 79, so that will be a challenge and a lot of fun at the same time. But for now, folks, I've been your host, Alex McKellar, and on behalf of Tim Awema, the Golden Stig, you've been watching Monday Night Lights on RRTV, and until next week, we will say ciao for now.